Okay, you know the person I'm talking about, right? We all have that one friend whose house is just always clean. Like, you could pop over unexpectedly at any time and it still looks like it's staged for a magazine shoot. It's so perfect, it's almost suspicious.
And come on, let's be real for a second. That thought crosses your mind. You're standing there in their spotless kitchen, and you're thinking, is this a crime scene? Or are they just a better human being than I am? Well, I'm here to tell you, it's neither of those things.
Here's the spoiler right up front. The secret isn't some superhuman level of discipline or willpower. It's actually all psychology. They're running a kind of survival program in the back of their mind. So stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll see why their clean space is basically a fortress for their mind, and why that pile of laundry in your room might be quietly plotting your downfall.
All right, first things first, what is all that clutter actually doing to your brain? Because it turns out, your brain doesn't really see a difference between the stress in your head and the stress of the environment around you.
Think about it like this. Every single thing that's out of place, that stack of mail on the counter, the shoes kicked off by the door, that single mug on your desk, your brain sees every one of them as an unfinished task, a little to-do item. And all those little open loops are incredibly draining on your mental energy.
And look, this isn't just some vague feeling of being overwhelmed. This is a real, measurable thing happening in your head. Research from Princeton actually found that physical clutter bombards your visual cortex, making it harder for your brain to focus and process information. It is literally making you less sharp.
So when you put it side by side, it's pretty stark. A cluttered space is linked to higher levels of cortisol. That's the stress hormone. It's like a constant low-grade hum of anxiety. But a clean space, it actually lets your brain relax. It's not just that it looks nice, it creates a neurologically calm environment for you to exist in.
So let's build on that idea. Because here's a little secret. Most chronic cleaners don't actually enjoy the act of cleaning. No, the real magic isn't about getting the floor clean, it's about getting control.
I mean, think about our daily lives. They are just a non-stop flood of things we have absolutely zero influence over, right? That uncertainty creates this constant low-level anxiety that we're all trying to deal with.
And this is the whole game right here. In a world that feels completely chaotic and out of your hands, that one small, defined space, your desk, that kitchen counter, is something you have total and complete authority over. Psychologists call this an internal locus of control. Every single time you wipe that counter clean, you're performing this small but powerful act. You are sending a direct message to your nervous system that says, hey, I am in charge here. I can create order out of chaos. And that feeling is incredibly stabilizing. You know that feeling when you get really anxious and suddenly you have this overwhelming urge to just organize a junk drawer? That's exactly this. It's called behavioral activation. The physical, repetitive motion of cleaning gives all that jittery, nervous energy a place to go. You're basically quieting your internal chaos by doing something productive. They're not cleaning. They're using a Swiffer as a therapy device. Okay, so if it's not a deep love for scrubbing toilets, and it's not just pure willpower, how in the world do they do it day after day? Well, this is where we completely blow up the myth of discipline.
Because that's what we all think, isn't it? That these people were just born with more grit, more self-control than the rest of us.
Nope, it's not about discipline. Not at all. See, discipline is like a muscle. It gets tired. If you rely on it for everything, you're going to burn out. And that's when you find yourself eating cereal out of the box with a fork because all the bowls are dirty. The real secret? It's automation. For a chronic cleaner, tidying up isn't a conscious decision they have to make every single day. It's just what happens. It's as automatic as brushing their teeth. And this is the engine that drives that automation. We don't tend to do things that are out of character. So a person who truly believes deep down that they are a clean person will naturally do clean person things. And how do you build that belief? With evidence. You do it with small, repeated actions that prove it to yourself. Making your bed every morning is the perfect example of this. It's such a tiny win, right? But what it does is it proves to your brain first thing in the morning that you're the kind of person who follows through. You get a little dopamine hit for finishing a task. And that success creates this psychological momentum that carries you into the rest of the day.
Okay, so we've dug into all the why behind this. Now let's talk about the how. How can you actually start doing this yourself without feeling totally overwhelmed and just giving up?
First rule, forget about the massive weekend cleaning marathon. That whole idea is just a recipe for failure and burnout. The real key is to make the starting line so small, it's almost impossible not to do it. So here's your game plan.
It's super simple. 1. Shrink the start. Just pick one tiny area, the kitchen sink, maybe one section of the counter. That's it. 2. Change your mindset from overhaul to maintain. Instead of letting dishes pile up, just rinse and load them right after you eat. Wipe the counter right after you cook. And 3. A little trick called habit stacking. Attach this new, tiny habit to one you already have. You already make coffee every morning, right? Just wipe down the counter while it's brewing. Done.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't really about having a house that's ready for guests at a moment's notice. It's about the message you are sending to yourself. When you take care of your space, you're telling your own brain that you are worthy of an environment that is peaceful and supportive, not one that's constantly adding to your stress.
And that really is the whole secret. That friend with the spotless house, they're not obsessive or weird. They've just figured out a fundamental truth. If you want to find a little bit of inner peace, a great place to start is with an empty sink.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Take a look around your own home right now. Which single room or even which single corner is causing you the most stress? Maybe, just maybe, that's the perfect place to shrink the start.